Hey guys, Megnat here. Today I'm putting two opponents against each other who have been considered the most intelligent people in their respected universes. It's Doctor Doom from Marvel versus Lex Luthor from DC. Lex Luthor was born and raised in a poverty-stricken area in Metropolis. It was called Suicide Slum. Now, as a child, he had abusive parents, so when he became a teenager, he plotted the deaths of his own parents in order to profit from their large life insurance policy. After that, he decided to create his own company known as LexCorp. And since then, he's been very rich and has a lot of resources at any point of time. He only became a villain after meeting with Superman, which he always, well, always hated throughout the entire DC universe. He's fought villains like Superman and pretty much the entire Justice League as well. Doctor Doom was born in a tribe of Laverian gypsies under the rule of a nobleman known as the Baron. Now, he was the son of a witch known as Cynthia Von Doom and his father, who was the leader of the tribe. Later on, his mother was killed by Mephisto when she was trying to make a bargain with him. And for those of you who don't know who that is, Mephisto is a demon prince from the Marvel Universe. Later on, the wife of the Baron gained a cancer. And the thing is, Victor's father was a renowned medicine man at that time. And the Baron asked his father to try and cure her, but he couldn't. And then Baron, who was really pissed off, decided to try and kill him. Now, later on in that night, the Baron tried to kill him, but the father and Victor, they tried to run away and flee, but they were caught during a snowstorm. After that, it turns out only Victor survived the snowstorm while his dad died. Later on, Doom went to America and went to the State University in New York. And that was when Victor met Reed Richards and Ben Grimm for the first time. Later on, Doom became obsessed with developing a machine that could project the astral form of another being into other dimensions. He built the machine and started to test it out. But then Reed Richards saw one flaw in his calculations. But Doom, of course, he was arrogant. He just ignored what Reed said and activated it. When he did, the machine exploded, scarring Doom's face. And ever since then, he always held a grudge against Reed Richards. After that, he traveled the world, eventually coming upon a small Tibetan village of monks who assisted him in creating a suit of armor. After that, he returned to his homeland of Laveria to overthrow the leader and declare himself as king. Ever since then, he's always been a leader, had a lot of resources, and have fought many opponents in the Marvel Universe, ranging from the Fantastic Four to the Avengers and even Spider-Man. Now, both of these guys have genius level intellect. For Luthor, he has proven to have 12 level intellect in this universe. And he seemingly knows every form of science. Space travel, extra dimensional travel, biochemistry, robotics, computers, synthetic polymers, communications, mutations, transportation, energy generation, all of that, even time travel. And the same thing goes for Doctor Doom. In fact, he has created a lot of robots and even created a time machine and went back in time on his own. But of course, they do have some differences. First off, for Doctor Doom, he doesn't always like to fight on his own. What he does, he creates a lot of robots, especially one of them, they're called servo guards. They're basically like a robotic police force he has in Laveria. A bunch of robots that he uses at his command at any time. But his most special robots are called the Doombots. Now, the Doombots are basically robots that look like Doctor Doom, have all of his powers, and they have an AI so advanced that they actually think they're Doom. So, as a safety measure, each Doombot has a dampener program that is triggered whenever the real Doom or another Doombot is nearby. Another thing that Doom has that Lex doesn't is his magical powers. Now, the thing is, Doom doesn't really like using his magic all the time. In fact, he thinks of technology more superior. In fact, most of the technology that he has replaced most of the magical powers he knows. But he's still very good at it. In fact, the time machine that he created, he decided to go back in the past and meet another villain known as Morgan Le Fay, who was also a sorceress using dark magic. Now, for his magical powers, he has mystical blast, mystical force fields, spell casting, summoning demons, teleportation, dimension travel, and mystical portals. And there was also one point in time where he actually teamed up with Doctor Strange, Sorcerer Supreme. And in fact, he came in second place with him during the magic tournament held by the ancient sorcerer, the aged Genhis. Now, Doctor Doom's armor is nuclear powered and a computer assisted battlesuit. It was magically forged by the monks, but later on, when it was repaired, it had more technological means. It grants Doctor Doom enhanced strength, durability, video communicator, and he can also create an electric shock on the outer surface of his armor. He can generate a massive shock at any command. He has flight, concussive blast, force fields, infrared vision, which means he could see or detect heated sources, a recycling system, which means he could survive in any condition because the suit actually provides air, food, water, and energy. In fact, he can even survive in outer space whenever he wants to. It also has sensory systems, which are usually used for like high-powered telescopes and to hear extremely faint sounds and unusual frequencies. It also has a solar energy absorption. It absorbs solar energy or heat energy, and it could only be used when the force field he has is deactivated. He also has diplomatic immunity because he's the leader of a foreign country. In fact, there was one time when he was escorted by Captain America himself, and as we all know, both of them are definitely not friends. Lex Luthor is also great when it comes to leadership, strategy, science, and usually in battle, what he usually do, he will use kryptonite-based weapons like kryptonite laser guns and so on. But when he's facing against more powerful foes, he will use his war suit. The war suit provides superhuman strength, durability, flight, force fields, and before I continue, some of you might think that, oh, even though Lex Luthor just having his bald head sticking out of armor, you easily shoot it and you'll die. Well, you can't do that. Turns out the force field is actually invisible. So even if you try to hit him with his head, the force field will still block your attack. It also has energy projection, which is mostly kryptonite-based energy. He could shoot it through his gauntlets in his war suit. He has an energy blade on his right goblet, and he also has kryptonite energy spikes under his right arm. Now, it's hard to determine who's smarter between these two, but there are some things that each of them have that the other doesn't. Like for Lex Luthor, his war suit is more physically powerful than Doctor Doom's, because he always faces up against his arch nemesis Superman multiple times. So he had to make his suit very powerful in order to do so. So on his side, he has more strength, durability, and endurance. As for Doctor Doom, he has magic, and that's something that Lex obviously doesn't. And even without the armor, Doctor Doom could easily do those magical spells in order to help him out in battle. And also, since Doctor Doom, he's what was the word again? He has diplomatic immunity. That means even if Lex Luthor was president again, that will not help him in his favor. And besides, this is a battle, not politics. There is also one thing that Doctor Doom's better at than Lex. He's better in hand-to-hand combat. In fact, there was one time when Doom actually went toe-to-toe with Spider-Man. And the guy who knows a unique martial art known as the Way of the Spider. So, that's definitely an accomplishment. As for Lex, he only knows like really basic hand-to-hand combat. In the comics, he trained in hand-to-hand combat through his personal Amazon fighting instructors, and they consider him as a subpar combatant with poor form. So Doom's definitely a better hand-to-hand combat than Lex Luthor. Okay, after examining these two guys, I think I know the winner. And that winner is going to be Doctor Doom. The reason why is because it's not because they're intelligent, because Doom has a lot more resources at his hands. He has a lot more robots and entire armies fighting for him. In fact, he could easily just send a Doom bot to just go and die for him. And as he keeps sending more and more robots to Lex, he will probably lose stamina, get exhausted, and that's the time when Doom could probably strike. And also, you have to think of it this way. If, let's say, both of them were able to destroy each other's armor, it was weakened at least, they would have to go hand to hand against each other. First off, if they both lose their suits, Lex don't really have anything in his favor. He doesn't always carry weapons by his side. He usually has some other people trying to protect him. And even though he's a good strategist too, and sometimes he'll leave the armor, his war suits somewhere in the background, it's still not a good possibility that he will win. Because first off, even if Doom loses his armor, he could still use his magic. He could still shoot magical blasts, force fields, even summon up demons. And also, even if Doom doesn't use his magic, he could still beat Lex when it comes to hand-to-hand combat. So yes, Lex War Machine is more physically powerful, but in the end, Doom would definitely win. Okay, do you agree or disagree? Leave a comment below and don't forget to subscribe.